Okay, great job, Hannah. Can you tell me the story of your sandbox?
Sure. This
Okay.
is me with my organized area,
Uh-huh.
and this is my roommate with her crap everywhere.
Okay. So you like things organized, it looks like.
Yes.
And then there's this other thing that you're dealing with.
Right.
So tell me about about your roommate and the chaos that's over here.
She just chucks stuff everywhere and never really cleans stuff up.
Okay. And how do you feel about that?
It makes me angry.
So, the problem kind of in your life right now is that you're facing this frustration over your roommate who's a mess and looks like a little chaotic, and you chose a bunny for her. Why did you choose a bunny for her?
Because she is small. I don't know.
Is she hoppy?
Sure.
Is she fast?
Sure.
Great. Okay. So what we've done here, Hannah, is we've kind of like taken your problem from being inside and we've externalized it into the sandbox so that we can kind of like analyze it as apart from you. And I like that even in your sandbox that you see it as it's not a part of you. It's just kind of something that you're dealing with right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So we've externalized it into the sandbox. So can you tell me how has this affected your everyday living?
It just makes me angry all the time.
So you're having a lot of anger all the time?
Yeah.
Okay. What does that look like?
Not having any patience and very little grace with anyone.
Ooh. So that then is having an effect on other relationships, even outside of this box.
Yes.
What can you tell me about the effect that it's having on relationships outside of that?
Well, it feels like since I have to be patient with that relationship all the time, that I don't have any patience for any of my other relationships.
Wow. That's having a significant impact on your life.
Yeah.
Wow. So how has it impacted other relationships with others?
By me being kind of short and not willing to have long conversations because that feels really exhausting and like it's going to take too much of my patience to have conversations that I don't really want to have.
Okay. So living with a roommate who is total chaotic and messy is wearing you down.
Yes.
And it's affecting other relationships.
Yes.
Okay. How has this, the problem that you're having here, how has that been reinforced in your life? How has it been, or even what's supporting it?
What do you mean?
What keeps it going? How is it that it keeps going?
My life?
The problem.
Oh, why does it keep going?
Yeah. How does it keep going? What's reinforcing it? What is keeping it alive?
The problem.
Yes.
I think the fact that that's just her personality is very lazy and doesn't really care about anything.
Okay. So we're going to step back just a little bit. And this box represents a conflict that you're having with your roommate.
Mm-hmm.
Where you kind of are having a clash of living ethics, I guess, or living standards, right? So I'm wondering, Hannah, if you can you put a name to this problem? Like if you were to name it and refer to it as something else.
I don't know.
Give it some thought for a minute.
I don't...
Anything's available.
Like...
How would you name your problem?
I don't really know what that means.
So, if you were to refer to your problem as though it were a character, what would you call it?
I don't know. Maybe I have no idea.
Do you want to think about it for a minute?
Like give my problem a name?
Yeah.
Like a code name?
Yep.
Oh. Well, well,
Anything's available. Go with anything.
I would maybe call it the Shit Shack.
Okay, the Shit Shack. So, you have Problem Shit Shack in here.
Yes.
That's like the name of this box. Problem. So what we're talking about is Shit Shack.
Yeah.
Okay, and Shit Shack has had an influence that's reached out kind of past into other areas of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that sucks.
Yeah, it does suck.
And it's affected other relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me about the other relationships, what they've been like?
I think it wearing me down so much that it's like made me not really have patience with my teammates.
Yeah.
Which I think is really important. Yeah, and just getting frustrated when they're asking me questions, even though it should be that I'm having grace and like understanding that they haven't gone through this process the same way that I have before and need answers to questions.
Yeah.
And instead be short and get angry at them.
Oh, that's terrible. And it all is kind of coming back to the box, but not necessarily the box, mostly this corner.
Yeah.
So, Hannah, I'm wondering if we can re-story this a little bit in here. And I'm wondering if you can use any of the materials or anything. It looks like you're also pretty blocked off here. You feel pretty protective.
Well, I like to distance myself from the bunny.
Okay. So I'm wondering if we can, maybe in the sand here, if we can work through a different storyline. And what I would like you to do is take Project Shit Shack here and either in the sand show me what you can do in yourself to how you can deal with or how you would hope for it to be.
Oh, like do that right now?
Yeah.
These are so tiny.
They are little.
Something like that.
That's good. Can you tell me about your new storyline here?
I had a conversation with my roommate
Mm-hmm.
about how this stresses me out when it's all chaotic.
Yeah.
And maybe she changed and organized her stuff.
Okay. So the interesting thing that I see is that you still have the roommate in there, in the box.
Yeah.
So and correct me if I'm wrong, what does that, well, let me ask you this. What does that say about the relationship then between the cow and the bunny who is in Shit Shack?
That they co-leased an apartment together, and so they're stuck together until the end of the year.
Okay. So it's not an option to get rid of the bunny.
No.
Okay. But is it an option? Is this part an option for you?
I feel like it would create a lot of unwanted tension if this was an option.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would be really awkward.
How would that create tension?
I already feel like there's a bunch of tension. And by me telling her to clean up her stuff. I mean, I already have to do that a lot, but telling her how it makes me feel would make her feel like I'm yelling at her because she over dramatizes like everything and feels like I'm yelling at her when I'm just having a conversation with her. She's very dramatic.
Okay. So I can also see now why your cow was kind of protected behind all these barrels.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing standing between the resolution of Project Shit Shack is a fear of how she's going to respond to you.
Maybe. Also the fact that we still have to live with each other for another 2 months, and there's no space between us.
Okay. So then, is there any way that you can creatively think of creating some space between you then? To make the last 2 months livable?
I mean, I've tried to brainstorm that the entire year, and so far what I do is just like go for a run or go to a coffee shop to get away from her. Like, pretty much I spend any second that I have away from her.
Wow. So
Yeah.
that's another way that Project Shit Jack here is affecting your life.
Yeah, and it's also exhausting because then I can't just like relax in my own house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, Shit Shack is creating tension in your relationships. It's depleting your grace with other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's taking away from your being able to relax.
Yeah.
In your home. That's a lot. Has a long reach.
Mm-hmm. It's exhausting.
Yeah. And it's exhausting you. I've heard you say that a couple of times.
Yes.
You're worn down from this.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. It's okay. So, thank you for sharing a new storyline here. But it seems like this is maybe a hope, but not in your mind. It seems that it's not a very likely solution.
Right. If I had the perfect solution, this bunny wouldn't be here.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, it would be not here. Because the apartment is so small. It would be somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So more like the dealing with the shit shack then is going to have to be more of finding ways to make it work for 2 months. Because likely it's not going to be cleaned up and you're going to still have to find time away.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
Well, I think it's been slightly better because I've been hanging out with another friend recently and going over to her house, and that's been nice because she could.
That's great. That's great. So hanging out with other people.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like Shit Shack has reached into that relationship yet.
Right.
Or maybe that's reinforced that relationship.
What do you mean?
Maybe the friend, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe the friend sees the need that you have.
Oh.
And so that has like strengthened that relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
So maybe some good things have come out of the Shit Shack.
Yeah.
Good job!